So, Kern, a rise in the unemployment rate, but looking below the figures, looks a bit better than that as employment actually rose during the quarter.
Yeah, the headline numbers were no doubt weaker than what we in the market was expecting. The increase in the numbers of people unemployed were certainly a surprise and bucks a trend against the falling numbers on the dole queue. But if you strip out in Canterbury and look at the underlying numbers, the picture is actually a lot better. Excluding Canterbury, overall employment growth actually increased by 1%. Now that's actually quite a solid increase. And hours worked for the whole economy actually increased by 1% as well. And that's following on a 1.5% increase in the previous quarter. So that tells me that there is actually quite solid underlying demand for labour out there. It's just that firms are choosing to give more hours to their existing workers rather than necessarily taking on new recruits.
So how long can they keep on giving new hours, more hours to their existing workers, do you think? And when will we see that stop and feed into the employment figures?
Well, the average hours worked per person is actually still pretty low compared to historical levels. And during the recession, we saw employers cutting back workers' hours by quite a long way. So now we're in a process of trying to restore those hours. So to me, I think there's still a way to go. There's certainly a lot of scope for employers to continue to increase their existing workforce hours. And the positive aspect to that is obviously for existing workers, that more hours means more pay. But the downside, of course, is that we could see the unemployment rate maybe proving a little bit more sticky in the near term.
Right, and what's ANZ saying, expecting with the unemployment rate over the next sort of year or two?
We still expect the unemployment rate to continue to head lower towards 6% and below that. But a lot of that will hinge on the timing of the Canterbury rebuild. We know that there's going to be a huge demand for labour once the rebuilding effort gets going. The uncertainty is around the timing. So if we can get the ramp up in the rebuilding effort going by middle of next year, then by the end of next year we'll definitely start to see some inroads being made to the unemployment.
Any implications for Alan Bollard in today's release?
I don't see any implications for monetary policy from today's data. The headline numbers, like I said, weren't as good as what we were hoping for, but the underlying picture actually doesn't look too bad. But the global situation still looks pretty dicey, and given that inflation is not really a real threat at the moment, we think the Reserve Bank has plenty of time to just sit on their hands and see how things pan out. So we don't expect a rate hike to occur until at least the middle of next year.
Thank you.